Good morning and welcome to the AGR Inventory Summit. My name is Haukur Hannesson and I'm the CEO of AGR. We have a packed agenda ahead of us here today and we are for the first time hosting this event online. We are here in the AGR offices in Copenhagen, but we have more than 350 people online watching us from 200 different customers. Some of you are just starting the AGR SaaS journey, but we have others that have been customers of ours for more than 2 decades, but they are still excited to hear what is next on the agenda by AGR. We are so excited to show you all the new stuff we have been working on, and we are also very excited to show you the things that are coming into the AGR product in coming months. But what I am most excited about myself, that is to hear from our customers, BoConcept, Panzerglas, Burley and Grandberg, where they will be sharing with us the challenges that they are dealing with in their supply chain and to share with us their experience with using AGR. We at AGR, we are going through the biggest transformation and the fastest transformation, at least since I joined AGR 24 years ago. And just to give you an idea of how fast this is happening, it took us 20 years to get 150 customers, one by one. And by the way, I celebrated each and every one of you. Then we introduced AGR SaaS 2 years ago, and we have more than doubled our customer count and now today, 2 years later, we have more than 300 customers. But how did we succeed in this transformation? We succeeded by productizing everything we do. And I think but the main reason why we succeeded is that we have been working with you, our customers, for past 20 years, our consulting team and our product team, with you, the customer, with their shared knowledge and customizing the system to make sure that the system meets the requirement of your supply chain. But why are we going through this transformation now? We at AGR felt that if we would continue on the same path, we would simply leave our customers behind, leave them behind on old versions of the system that was almost impossible or at least very costly to upgrade them to a new version. We also felt for AGR that if we would continue on the same path, that we would just end up as a huge IT company instead of the product company we have ambitions to be. This transformation is also transforming completely how you get the value out of the system. This is not anymore about what is also transformed. It is how we charge our customer, because that is changing a lot the relationship between AGR and the customer. Because in SaaS, there is no hourly rate. And I repeat, you are not able to buy hours from AGR. It's not about service cost, it's not about implementation cost. You can use our consultants as much as you like, and we are there for you to make sure that you get value out of the system. But when I was preparing for this presentation, I started to look back. I started to look back at the history, where we are coming from, and for the fun of it, I was looking at old screenshots of the system. And when you look at those screenshots and you see there, for example, the first screenshot of the system, I know that some of you that are with us here today online were using the system like this more than 20 years ago. Even though, of course, it looks better and all that today, it's still, looking at it, I see that our strategy and our vision has stayed the same through all those years. And that is the vision to minimize waste in your supply chain by using your data, predicting for the future, calculating replenishment orders, and then to take all that data, in one screen in front of you, enabling you to put your knowledge on top of what the system is calculating. You can also see screenshots there. It was a huge progress when we went into version 4 there, which was an on-prem version. Then we went to AGR 5, actually at that point in time, because that version was based on browser-based technology. We thought we were in the cloud. That is what we told ourselves. We might have told our customers that as well, but we felt that that cloud was not the cloud we were looking for, because we were still implementing our customers one by one. We were upgrading them one by one. We were doing the same customizations over and over again for one customer at a time. Shortly after we started hosting the solution, it was a good progress, but it didn't move the needle that much. And we were getting feedback from our customers, a valid feedback, even though relatively happy customers. They were saying to us, hey guys, it's too expensive to update the system. It's too costly to do a minor customizations in the system. You have to do something about it. And we started to dream about something, and we started the SaaS journey. And when we started that, we decided to start small and focused. And this is a slide actually from 2 years ago when we were presenting it for the first time. And at that point in time, it was only for wholesale companies, and it was only for customers using Microsoft Business Central. We have already gone far beyond our wildest dreams of the AGR SaaS journey, because today, what we are presenting here today is not AGR Essentials, it's AGR SaaS, which is ready for all of you now today. And this is a powerful inventory optimization solutions in the cloud for all of you that is standard, automatically upgraded, and based on all our work for past 2 decades. But what this allowed us to do is that by standardizing everything in the product, it allowed us also to take all our learning material, all our documentations to the next level, and that also enabled us to introduce a new employee, AI bot called Finn, and we will be showing you him later today. And we also realized when we first launched AGR Essentials that one size is not fitting all. We started small, but now we are going into more complex supply chains. Some retailers have gone live with the system. So we decided to have a one core module called Inventory IQ. And thereunder, if you would like to go deeper into functionality around planning or ordering or insights, we have add-on modules that you can add on top of the Inventory IQ. For a simple supply chain, or when you're starting with the system, Inventory IQ might be enough, but then you are able to add on those modules. But when we are developing new features into the system, we are adding those new features into one of those buckets. That means that all new functionality is not going anymore into the on-prem version, but we are still maintaining the code of the on-prem version. So it's possible to use that version for the years to come, but new functionality is coming on the on-SaaS platform. We at AGR, we spend close to 30% of all our revenues into the R&D to develop our product for you. But how do we prioritize that development? How do we decide what to put into the system? There are 2 leading factors that lead the way there. The first is the feedback from you, the customers. You are using the system on a daily basis. And by the way, you have been relentless throughout the years, giving us a very valid feedback and enabling us to make a good system even better. The other part that impacts what and prioritizes what we do are external factors. And we at AGR, we are not only predicting for your future, we are also trying to predict the future of the supply chains. And we take inputs. And here actually is one of the inputs where there is an input of the top 10 supply chain trends in 2024. And on top there, we have the digital supply chain. But that is from this survey. But what is a digital supply chain? What does that mean? What it means, at least by me, it is to take the data that you have in the system, integrate those systems together, and use those data to enable you to take decisions, and then to share that data throughout the supply chain. What we also see, which is, there you also have other points there below that are all related to this digitalization. We have, for example, in third place, we have the artificial intelligence. The positive change we are seeing with all this is that in the past, technology like that was only available to huge global companies. But now we are seeing medium-sized and small-sized companies to use technology like that. We at AGR, we will be showing you here later today some of the AI stuff we have been working on and what we will be building there in the future. But the key takeaways from this, in my mind, is to invest in cutting-edge technology and to be able to deal with the challenges in your supply chain. Just recently, we had the survey coming out from 2025, and what we were seeing there is that AI is not in the third place anymore. It has gone up to the first place. And what it means to be in first place, it means that if you look at the graph there, it's both the likelihood, it's most likely to be used, and also it has the biggest impact on your supply chain. What is also on the rise, it is the disruption and risk management. And I can fully understand that, because if I would be running a supply chain, you wake up in the morning and there is a president somewhere out there in the world putting something on social media that is completely changing how you should be running your supply chain. And we at AGR, we feel that we are ready for this pace. And what I mean by that, because things are changing so fast today. So current platform enables us to take feedback from you guys, our customers, create that functionality into the system and get it out there. And we have hundreds of customers that are live the day after with that new functionality. What we are going to do here today, we are going to learn from people from AGR. We are going to learn from our customers. And you guys that are online, what you're able to do, you're able to send out questions through the user interface you have logged into this event. So I encourage you to send questions. We will be answering each and every question that you send to us, either online during the event or after the event, and we might take the best, and we will be taking the best questions here up into the panel. Actually, I have the first question coming in here, and I'm just going to read it. It's from one of our customers that have been a customer of ours for past 15 years, a retailer. And the question there is, what is the path for long-term AGR for existing on-prem customers? What AGR solution will we use after 5 years? The short answer to that one is most likely AGR SaaS. But the longer version is that you as a customer, you can decide when to move over to the SaaS or if to move over to the SaaS. We have some customers that have customized something in the on-prem version that is on the roadmap and coming out in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and you would like to wait for that functionality to be available on the on-SaaS platform, and that's fine, you can wait. We also have some other customers that have customized the system so much with a very specific functionality only to be used by them, and most likely not coming into the on-SaaS, to the SaaS platform. Then it is okay to continue to use the on-prem platform. We will continue to support that. We'll continue to maintain the code there, but new functionality is coming into the SaaS platform. And my expectations, when you see all those new things coming week by week, month by month, that you will be tempted to go over. So if I answer the question directly, In 5 years' time, I would expect 85% of our customer base that have already moved over to SaaS. One of these customer that is going to move over to SaaS is coming here. It's from a customer that was one of the first customer in Denmark called BoConcept. And I have to admit, they became a customer of ours in 2008, if I remember right. And I have to admit, when I'm walking down some high street abroad, I become a little bit proud looking at their sign and knowing that they are one of the AGR customers, because their goods are very famous all around the world. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Dennis Bilgraf, the Global Supply Chain Director of BoConcept. Welcome, Dennis.
All right, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I've been asked to join you guys here today online to give you a little flavor of what the BoConcept is, how our supply chain works, structured, and of course angling it a little bit into how does AGR fit into this context. I was also asked to bring a few slides in regards to what is the future or the next year's challenges that we are facing, what is it that we are working on and we hope to be solving over the next year. A little bit about the history, very shortly. We all have a history. BoConcept started in 1952, growing out of a carpenter's shop in Herning in Denmark, becoming a furniture manufacturer. Over the course of those years, it grew quite fast, and we had at some point more than 1,200 wholesale customers. Somewhere down that line, we started opening up some BoConcept stores as well. And in 2002, it was decided strategically that we should focus on the BoConcept chain rather than continue to deal with the wholesale side of the business. So, of course, quite a drastic decision to make. Between 2002 and 2006, this change was implemented, and from 2006 onwards, there was fully focus on the BoConcept chain. In 2016, we were sold to an English equity fund, 3i, and that really accelerated not only the focus on building the chain, but also building the furniture brand, BoConcept, with Helena Christensen joining us here earlier this year as the latest addition to that journey. If you look a little bit about the whole change from the wholesaler to a retail brand, then you can say, why such a drastic change? Saying goodbye to 1,200 customers is quite a big decision. But it was a needed decision. We were really struggling. We were not in control of our resources. There was a lot of pull from the different types of wholesale companies. So in order to get into a push control and get in control of our cost and our flows, it was decided to say goodbye to these wholesale customers. Today, we've grown the chain to more than 300 stores. We operate in more than 60 countries with approximately 100 franchise partners. So it's a medium-sized company, but with a huge complexity in the supply chain supporting these 60 markets. If we look at the franchise concept and angle that a little bit towards the whole supply chain part, then you can say it's relatively easy as a partner. You have one supplier, and that's BoConcept AS in Denmark. We have then, in theory, 200 suppliers behind the lines, but in reality, it's 30-odd suppliers, of which 12 of them is approximately 70% of our flow. What we do is we control the customer orders coming in from the stores, cross-dock all these different orders for the partners, and deliver them to the store. You can say the general approach is that the partner should not hold any inventory, but should follow the standardized processes that are built, where we deliver the customer orders cross-dock to them at the agreed date at point of sale, and through that create an asset-light model for both us and the partner. If we try to zoom out a bit and then look at the supply chain of BoConcept, you can say it's built of 4 building blocks. We have the sourcing part, of course, where we have raw material from our own production in Denmark. We also have finished goods sourced in both Europe and Asia. Then we have an upholstery area that is make to order, where the other ones is make to stock. This is a separate part of our supply chain. And then we have our production in Denmark, located right next to our warehouse facility in Ølgod in Denmark, and our 2 distribution points in Ølgod and in Shanghai. So the distribution part is really where we kind of connect all the dots. This is where we cross-dock everything and where we ship it out. We currently have a split of 75% out of the European distribution center and 25% out of our Asian distribution center. If we then try to carry this into the AGR context and say, where do we use AGR? So in 2019, we implemented Microsoft D365 as our ERP system, and it was decided that this is our main transactional system. So the dotted line on the screen right now represents our ERP system, and AGR is solely used as a forecast engine in our warehouses, our DCs in Denmark and in Asia. We operate something like 1,500 SKUs, 4,500 lines when it's divided into the individual warehouses. I have to correct Hauger here because he said 2008, but actually the AGR implementation started in 2006, where a part of this whole shift from the wholesaler to the retailer started a major upgrade of our IT infrastructure. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see a lot of spaghetti. It was the IT structure when we were moving away from the wholesale business. And really it was focused on a production facility rather than a retail chain. So a lot of things had to be done. There was a lot of old legacy systems and a lot of Excel sheets, So something had to be done. And a part of creating stability around this was to implement AGR back in 2006. On the left side of the screen, you can see the development we went through from 06 to 08, from 35% of our revenue being sourced items up to 70%. So there's a big push in being in control of the flow coming in from our sourced suppliers. So if we look at these 19 years of marriage, like every other marriage, you have to kind of stop up and reevaluate sometimes. And if we look at that, I think when we look at AGR, we were extremely satisfied with the way that we use it in our context and what it's giving us. I think we see a steady flow of goods, and we have a very controlled inventory, and that's done through these very simplified user interfaces that Hauger also mentioned here in his presentation. The process and the model internally in BoConcept, just very briefly, is built around a monthly process, kickstarting every month, where we have the monthly update of our forecast numbers coming in. We have an internal logistical process tying into a lot of other different processes in the house. Sales and operations planning, of course, inventories. We have supplier meetings, forecasts, B2B meetings every week. Also our product life cycle control is a vital part of these processes. And I've just tried to add in a few slides on some of these main areas where we use AGR in our daily operations, just give you a bit more of a flavor on that. And of course, it's done primarily through the standardized reports. We still do work in Excel. It's still the best logistical tool we have, but we also do a lot of standardized reports in AGR, of course. One of the primary deliverables we have from AGR is our inventory control. We also use the data from AGR to generate our inventory forecasts into our S&OP process, but we don't generate the reports from AGR. It's done from our ERP and our BI platform. And it is with forecasting, as with everything else, it is never completely in control. What you're looking at on your right-hand screen here is top and bottom line forecast expectations for this financial year. And as you can see, the dotted line was the realized inventory, so things doesn't always work as planned, but we will be back on track before end of April, my CFO has told me. So it's not a problem. A very important part of our processes internally, and actually one of the biggest resource drivers we have, is our news introductions. We have 2 annual news introductions running in September and December, and I know there's participants online from the fashion industry who would look at 2 annual introductions and say, okay, piece of cake. For us, it's a huge undertaking, and it's mostly because we introduced the products on the same date globally in the 60 countries we represented in, meaning an online push and, of course, showroom models to be in place. This is thoroughly controlled by our AGR system and the guys working with this, and it's tightly interconnected with our P2M process and the stage gate model we're operating there. The flip side to news, discontinuances, obsolescence, talking about the CFO before. This is another area where we always have good discussions. On the obsolescence side and the discontinuances, I've written that we have a highly successful model. It sounds good, but I actually do believe that we are in a very good control of our discontinuances process. We start phasing out products 10 months before it's taken off the floor in the shops. And we start reduce safety stocks, forecasts, and work with all the different parameters in the system to have as little as possible in stock at the end of the year, and still also, of course, use our S&OP processes to get rid of as much as possible prior to that date. The last point I brought in regards to the overall AGR usage is our B2B. So when starting out with the retail chain, it's been B2C that's been in focus. It's the in-store experience and everything that's happening. Everything has been revolving around that. But over the past years, the B2B business has been an increasing part of our business, and an important, and it's a strategic area that we are focusing quite a lot on. And I think, like most others, moving from B2C to B2B, it is a huge headache. There's a lot of different aspects, a lot of different things we have to get used to, processes that has to be different. But I think we're now getting into a process where we are in a relatively good state. We'll never be in control of our B2B business. But again, we try to use the tools available, trying to get as much in control of the pipeline from our B2B partners as possible, building in orders on 3, 6, 9, and 12 months horizon. We still get a lot of orders in with 2, 3, 4 weeks lead time, and we still have to solve those, of course, as well. So I was asked to also try to say, okay, what is it, if we look a little bit ahead, what is it that is the main focus for us? And I think everybody participating here online, here in the office today, we know that it's a challenging outlook, and it's really difficult to do something with the political instability and whatever we're looking into. But what we can do something about is the different things in our control. And here, especially for us, and I think for a lot of different companies, data. We have so many compliance, general compliance things that we have to solve over the coming years. European ones, local market compliance, and also when moving into the B2B business for us, there's a lot of data in regards to just be licensed to play and to deliver into these bigger B2B projects. What we're trying to do is to turn that around and say, okay, in the past, we've always said that when we're working with our suppliers, we're working with a partnership. But I really think that it's not before now we start to fully understand what it is our partner does, because the depth of the data that we're now starting to get because of scope 1, 2, 3, all these different things is really starting to show a full picture of the suppliers we're interacting with. I think we should look at this as a possibility and start to see how can we integrate even better with our suppliers. Also another funny thing talking about the development over the last couple of years. There's a lot of text on this slide, I'm sorry, but I think if you asked us a couple of years back before Corona if we thought we're in control, then I think, and that goes for everybody, pretty much everybody would say yes, we were completely in control, bring it on, we were ready for whatever challenges we'd be facing. I think what we learned from Corona was that, and also talking into the comments of how good before, data, being in control of data, having the right data and the quality of the data that you have to make the right decisions. We simply didn't know enough about our supply chain, about our suppliers. We didn't have the full understanding of what was going on. And of course, there's a lot of things you cannot be in control of, but even how our suppliers reacted and describing that was very difficult for us. So we spent the first part of COVID making a lot of PowerPoint, explaining ourselves. And then as we moved into the later part of the Corona period, we got more and more in control. And I think it's safe to say that we're standing now, we're in a much better shape than when we moved into to the COVID. Also, looking ahead, so what we can be in control of is digitalisation. And I think it's fair to say now I have a colleague joining a panel here later from the furniture business. I think we're not the most digitalized business in the world. It's a lot of the furniture business is relatively old school. So right now, for instance, we are just finalizing the last barcoding, tracing, and tracking through our warehouses, getting in control of that, moving into AI and moving into the whole robots and moving away from too much manual handling, getting speed in our processes. That is our main focus in the coming years. And then, of course, we're also looking forward to implementing the SaaS solution. And that's also the reason I mention that is not to please AGR, but it's actually because I think it taps into our focus on adding speed to our processes. Today, we only update the forecast between AGR and our ERP twice a week. And you can say in the big picture, that is good enough. But if you're coming right out of a meeting with our production, making changes, and you want to push that through right away, we're not able to do that today because of the way that we integrate it. When moving into the SaaS platform, we look forward to a lot more agile processing between AGR and our ERP system. And now I've talked a lot about performance. Or maybe we should just stop up here on the second to last slide. So how did it go? So the target for BoConcept is to deliver 95% of our orders on time at the first confirmed delivery date. And you can say our overall make to stock delivery performance is actually pretty much in control. The data you're looking at on your screen right now is starting from June 2019, where we implemented the ERP system D365. Not the best timing as COVID hit us right after we implemented it. But again, it just shows that there are peaks and troughs in this, and this is the world we're in, and this is what we're here for to try to solve this. I think we are in a much better shape also. We spend time on not, we're solving root causes rather than building reports. And also in our B2B processes, we start to see now we're really getting a good grip on this. And it's still a challenge, but we're in much better shape here. Questions?
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. We have questions coming in online, and I have here in front of me the online questions that are coming in. And by the way, I encourage you, both our customers or our prospects that are there online, to send questions to all of you during the event. We will be answering everything. But there were 2 questions that were aimed at you specifically. So no pressure.
No.
So the first question we got here online is, so I'll just read it out here. You mentioned economic challenges during your presentations. How are industry leaders in supply chain like yourself adapting to this increasingly unpredictable environment?
What's the next question? No. Yeah. So I think it's extremely challenging, but I actually think what we talk a lot about in our internal meetings and with our suppliers is speed of change, speed of adapting, and trying to constantly change the way that we work. If again, pre-COVID, we were locked in a set structure, everything was going okay, but we need to be much more agile. And I know that's it's an easy word to use, but this is really what we need to, how we need to perform to keep following whatever happens out there. I also think making 2-3 year plans is that's not the topic now, right? It's 3 to 6 months, constantly updating that plan. What are we doing? What are we doing? And that's how we try to work. And it's not always easy, but it's interesting.
Good answer to a very good question, by the way. And like I said, I encourage you to put complicated questions like that, because I would like to put them here, or my colleagues here, on the spot later today. So continue to send out those questions. I have another one that was just coming in here, and that's here. It's impressive to hear about your growth and strong service levels. What key strategies have helped you to maintain such high performance?
I think, as I mentioned in the presentation, we have some main resource drivers in the company, and the news introduction part and being coordinated across the chain on what products are coming in, the commercial assortment, making sure it's the right products we show on the shop floor, we have it in stock. Years back, we were not really coordinated enough on that part, and that's really moved a lot in the right direction over the past years. So I think the coordination between our S&OP team, between our marketing, retail, and the supply chain has really helped us quite a lot. And then I think one of the angles we've made to that is that we've been operating a standardized double ABC analysis like most companies, but then we've added like a third dimension to that, where we look at the input we're getting in from our marketing team on what's going to happen on the next 3, 6, 9 months, and adding in extra safety on those products. So without interfering with the normal calculations, we've added in like an extra layer, so we bring safety in on those products, and so we can kind of confirm and support the pushes we have out there in the retail stores.
Good answer to a good question, and very interesting presentation. Also good to know that I've known you for 2 more years than I remembered. 2006. I usually do not remember that far back. And also just thank you to share this with us and share it with our customers and prospects here online. So thank you, Dennis. And we have another presenter coming in here. We have our COO, Einar Karl Þórhallsson, who will be coming here on stage. Einar has been with AGR for past 17 years, and he has been part of many of the biggest projects that AGR has been delivering in those years. He is in charge of the team leaders of all our delivery teams in all our countries. And this is a team that I'm very proud of, and they are the people that are there out there with the customers. They have to face the customers, they have to hear their feedback, and they are fighting for the customer every day, and they are doing it in a different way, because now we have 200 customers on-prem, we have 100 customers that are already on the SaaS platform. On the on-prem platform, those consultants or customer success team, they have been able to customize everything in the code. Now they are hand-holding the customer and configuring the system through the user interface. Einar will be telling us a little bit about all of this. So welcome on stage, Einar Karl Þórhallsson.
Good day. It's fantastic to be here. It's always a big highlight for me to connect with our users on our user events. My name is Einar Þórhallsson, and I've been part of AGR since 2007. I started as a consultant working closely with many great companies, each and every one with their own unique supply chain and different challenges, including many of you attending here today, which makes me very happy and a little bit proud, I have to say. And I'm really excited to talk about our journey to the cloud. Our SaaS transformation hasn't just transformed our product, it has truly reshaped the way we serve, support, and collaborate with our users. We've always had a strong connection with our users, and we have taken a lot of pride in that. And in a way, our moving to SaaS has brought us even closer. With AI and our standard data connectors, we are boosting efficiency and freeing up our team to focus on what matters most, helping you succeed and navigating the growing complexities of today's supply chain management. And it's been amazing really to see the impact of AGR SaaS, helping our customers succeed faster, with less effort, and in a more sustainable way. And that is part of what makes our work so rewarding here at AGR. And with AGR now fully in the cloud, in SaaS, what does it mean for you? First, SaaS, or software as a service, means our product is standardized and hosted in the cloud, which makes it accessible anytime, anywhere over the internet, and it's ready for use. And because AGR SaaS is standardized and cloud hosted, implementations are much simpler. With our pre-built data integrations with multiple ERP systems, our standard connectors, our customers can quickly connect to AGR and get their data into the system faster than ever before. And our customer support is now more efficient than before. with everyone using the same solution, we can train and assist our users faster in a scalable and effective way. Our consultants no longer have to navigate complex custom setups before providing the help. Instead, they can use their deep expertise in our standard system and in supply chain management in general to focus on more important matters, helping you maximizing value and tackle unique supply chain challenges when they occur. And I think there lies the advantage of standardization. And we also know, like Haukur have been talking about, that many of you, our current on-prem customers, rely on important, sometimes critical customization. And so to make it possible for them to even think about moving to SaaS, we knew it was essential to meet diverse and different and sometimes complicated requirements and needs within a standard solution. So that's why we have spent a lot of time focusing on building flexibility directly into the product. And I want to show you here how it works and sharing an example. Here you can see how customizations have traditionally been done. Here we are looking at SQL code and where our consultants are modifying this code to tailor the AGR setup to each customer for their specific requirements. This case here we are looking at setting up rules for order routing for a customer with multiple locations. And with AGR SaaS, we moved this functionality into the user interface, putting control directly in your hands. Now you can configure order routing and other settings as well, right in the system, while still having support from our team when you need it. And this makes for a more transparent setup. The process is faster, and overall it's just much more efficient. And that's the power of having built-in flexibility in the product itself. Here is another example, an example of our standard connectors. One of the standard connectors that we have developed. This one is for Microsoft Business Central. And setting it up actually requires no involvement from your IT team or your BC service providers. You simply install the AGR Data Integrator app like any other app in Business Central, follow our setup instructions, and AGR will then connect to your BC environment, retrieving data in our system, and then sending orders back seamlessly. And when we started the SaaS journey, like you seen before, we only had one standard connector, which was this one, to Microsoft BC. But over the past 12 months, our incredible integrations team have been rolling out new standard connectors at an incredible pace, really. And now we can offer standard integrations with various ERP systems, as you can see here on the slide. And we are expecting to continue to roll out new connectors as we look ahead. I want to highlight here what we mean when we talk about a standard connector. It means that we can quickly connect to the ERP system. Everything is fully documented, and the standard data mapping is available in our knowledge base. So you have full visibility into where your data flow is coming from your ERP system, both fast setup and complete transparency. And this has proven to be an excellent way to get up and running quickly, and after the implementation, to maintain it in a sustainable way. And for most of our customers, our standard connectors covers all needs because we have the ability to add custom columns, and we have a built-in data management feature, which we introduced last year, that really bridges the gaps in the data that you might have. And it has been a bit of a game changer for our customer success team, having the data management feature in the system, because now we can tackle data challenges in a more easy way. And there are many use cases for this tool. For example, if your data is missing in the ERP system, you don't have to get back to your IT department or your ERP provider and maybe pay for costly changes to add data or add fields in your ERP system. You can simply manage it here in your UI. And for those of you that have more customized needs, or you have a very bespoke ERP system, our staging framework enables the development of custom integrations to fit your specific requirements. Now, with all of these changes I've been talking about, the built-in flexibility, our standard connectors, and the data management feature, we have been able to dramatically reduce implementation time. Previously, implementation used to take 3 to 6 months. And now we implement in a week. Plus, instead of time-based estimates, we now offer fixed pricing, making the process more predictable and transparent for our customers. You pay for the value, not for the billable hours related to the implementation or the support. Instead, you simply pay a fixed price for the value you receive. And this means that companies that once couldn't afford a specialized inventory management solution because it was too big of an investment in the beginning can now take advantage of the solutions we built. Solutions based on decades of experience, optimizing all kinds of different supply chains. And for me, which is maybe the most important part here, is that we are seeing our users that have gone on to SaaS being much less reluctant to engage with our customer success team because there is no extra cost attached. And for us being in a more active dialogue with you guys, it means that we are better positioned to help our users, you guys, to succeed and maximize the value of the system. And we've always known that our product delivers real results for our customers. But now, being in a more active dialogue, you could say in a way that our sense of responsibility towards your success has grown. It's not just about getting customers started, it's also about making sure that you continue to achieve your goals and that we can demonstrate the success in a measurable way. And we really welcome this challenge. That's why we developed a performance dashboard in Power BI, which we regularly review with our customers. And together we analyze different key metrics, we analyze your results, and we try to find new opportunities to improve. And there is always room for improvement in supply chain, as we know. And here you have a real example from one of our customers that successfully reduced their total inventory by 20% in their first 12 months using the system. It's a huge impact in today's business environment where tying up excess capital in inventory can be, it can make all the difference. And within our Insights module, users can access this dashboard anytime, right alongside other reports in Power BI. The dashboard pulls data from AGR through an open web service, our public API, and we sometimes say it can unlock your AGR data, giving you the freedom to use it in the way that best fits your needs. This means you can integrate the data into other reporting tools or systems. You can use our standard dashboard as a starting point and then expanding and customizing that with your own specialized reports, all powered with our AGR data. Another benefit with having AGR in the cloud is that we can now centrally monitor all of our customers' environments, all of our setups in one place. So we have developed an internal control system which allows us to track and look at key processes such as the overnight runs and make sure that they can execute without issues and all the data is updated correctly. So basically we are making sure that everything runs smoothly, and when our users need assistance, we are never far away. Users can get help directly within our system through our live chat, and allowing us to respond faster and more effectively than through our traditional service desk or our, where you have to open a ticket or you have to send us an email. And then there are those who prefer to help themselves. Some studies have actually shown that there are people out there that would rather clean a toilet than talk to a customer support. They would much rather want to find answers on their own. I'm not sure what I feel about that when I'm in contact with our customers, but for all these users, our help material are available in a knowledge base to support AGR SaaS. Personally, I like to get answers right away. I'd rather not want to search through a manual myself, and that's where AI comes in strong. We've recently gained a powerful new team member when we introduced our AI chatbot, which we call Finn. Finn is built on the same AI model as ChatGPT, meaning he can understand questions and messages basically in any language. He knows all of our help material inside and out. The only one that knows it inside and out. And he can provide concise, accurate answers based on that information. And Finn has already proven himself. And his biggest advantage, of course, is that he always responds instantly. But here I want to stop a little bit and emphasize that with Finn, we are not replacing human support. We're simply giving AI the chance to provide instant answers where possible and reducing unnecessary wait times. And if Finn can't answer, then we are ready to step in, take over the chat, and correct our new trainee. We also continuously refine our help material, so we're always training Finn with better content, so he can answer more questions correctly and help users solve their issues right away. And I want to show you here a real example of how Finn successfully helped a user solve an issue within AGR. Here the user asks whether it's possible to remove a specific customer from the sales history of a product so that this customer's past purchases don't affect the sales forecast. And sure enough, Finn has this covered, and he simply responds, yes, no problem, just follow these simple steps, go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then he follows up to confirm, is this what you're looking for? The user is impressed, it seems, says thanks, and everyone moves on with their day. It's pretty cool, right? And for me, the most exciting part is actually what's ahead. We are now working on enabling Finn to answer questions about your own data and your own settings. it could be you want to ask Finn about when your next scheduled order is for this particular supplier. Basically means that Finn's answer will become even more personalized and tailored to your needs. And we are now seeing our users engage with Finn on a daily basis. And it really warms our hearts to see the depth and the accuracy and actually the meaningful support that Finn provides. And we have a lot of fun going through the answers. Maybe spend too much time reading what Finn is when he's talking to our customers. Yes, many doors have opened since we moved to the cloud. Implementations have become simpler. There are no hourly service costs, and we are continuously making sure our customers are achieving success after implementation. You know exactly what you're getting, at what price up front, more value, less waste. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks, Einar. Interesting presentation. There are questions constantly coming in, and you get some of the difficult ones, so I'm putting you on the spot here.
Thank you. I was not expecting anything else.
No, okay. So the first question, first of many. So, first question is, what are the key signs that a company is ready to move to SaaS? Are there specific challenges or opportunities that typically indicate it's the right time?
Like you would say, excellent question. I think maybe to start, we are actively discussing with a lot of customers these days in the past weeks and months about the right time to move. And for us, it's been, the process is usually the same, but of course the circumstances and the cases are different. And what we do is, first of all, with the consultant that has been working with that customer, having him involved because he knows the setup the best, and it's going through the requirements. It's looking, are there any gaps in the feature gaps, and then tying into and looking ahead what's on the roadmap. And I encourage you to listen to the next one, because next presentation where Sigrun is going through the roadmap, because sometimes the timing is tied to a specific feature. Like we have a few customers now waiting for the customer level planning coming into SaaS. It's also looking into the new feature benefits in new system and weighing those together. And maybe about the opportunities, are there any special signs? I think if you're thinking about moving your ERP to the cloud, that is usually a very good timing. But maybe the bottom line is, reach out to your consultant if you're thinking about the move, and then we'll go through this process and tailor the plan to your needs and your requirements.
Yeah, as you would say, an excellent answer. You get 9 out of 10 for it. So,
thank you.
Another question coming in here from a prospect actually, and the question is: are there any new ERP connectors planned for the future? How do you typically prioritize which ones to develop next?
Another excellent question. Yes, we are planning to roll out more connectors, like I said earlier. The decision making actually comes maybe like when you are forecasting into the future, looking at demand. It's looking at our prospects actually, and understanding where are the ERP systems waiting out there that we need to look at, and so looking at our pipeline and seeing into that one. It's also looking at our customers that are planning to migrate. So it's just looking at the demand, I would say. There's another factor that plays in here as well. It's, you could, when we are developing a standard connector, you could break it, to simplify, you can break it into two components. One is the data mapping part and then the data connection. And especially when you look at the standard data mapping and for the older ERP platforms, the complexity and the spectrum of how it varies is bigger. So in those cases, we know that we need to rely on our partners as well, our ERP partners, and get them into the discussion. So there are a few key factors that play into those kind of decisions. But we have a rolling decision-making process where we are constantly looking at what's next.
But what can you do if you are a customer of ours that does not have we don't have a standard connector for them on an old version of some system, and we don't have a connector for that customer? Is it not possible to go to SaaS, or what?
No, you get, like I went through earlier, we have the ability to develop a custom integrations with you. And I would just say the same as before, reach out and go through it with us, and we will take a look at that situation and the ERP system.
Yeah, of course I knew that. So I have another question from online here.
You should have known.
Yeah, I should know. So here it's coming in here, and I have here. With AGR now in the cloud instead of on-prem, how is security managed? What measures are in place to keep data safe?
Yeah, that's another good question. You managed to pick out all the good questions there, you can see. No, I think this is a topic that is top on mind for many, and we are, constantly reminded when we see news from a company that are getting, a cyber attack. So this is something that we are constantly looking into, and we are running on Microsoft Azure. So we benefit from their security framework and their strict compliance. So that is, of course, a part of it. And we are, especially our engineering team, our infrastructure team, are on every day thinking about how we can strengthen our security. So we are very security aware, and we know as well that it's not a task that you complete. It's an ongoing task to make sure that we are secure. Basically.
Okay. Here is interesting question. Here, will using assistance from Finn be charged additionally, like email support is now charged additionally? Or it will be totally free of charge?
It's included in the subscription, basically.
Is he not? Does he get any salaries, or what is the?
He has the same salary benefits as all of us.
so it's part of the software subscription.
Yes.
So you're paying it through that, but no additional if you're using it or not.
No.
And he's constantly learning.
He's constantly getting better, as we will actually see with Sigrun's presentations later on. She will be going through what's next for Finn. Okay.
Thank you for good answers and good presentation, Einar. We have here next on the stage, we have our CPO, Sigrun Gunnhaldardóttir. She has been with AGR in many roles for past 12 years, now leading the team that is building our product. This is a team that is usually behind the scenes. They hide behind the screen, but they are the people that they wake up in the morning and they are only thinking about how they can make the product even better. Sometimes they are thinking about very complicated methods in how to calculate forecast or replenishment, or sometimes I'm watching them arguing about if the logo should be 2 millimeters to the left or 2 millimeters to the right, but they are very enthusiastic about everything they do. So welcome, Sigrún, here on stage. The floor is yours.
Wow, thank you, Haukur. Hi, I'm Sigrún, and I'm the Chief Product Officer here at AGR. I have a background in engineering, and I studied optimization at Columbia University, and there my curiosity started to focus on the supply chain, because I find complex problems exciting. I started my career in production planning for one of AGR's customers, but then moved over to AGR and have been here, like Haukur said, for over 10 years. First working closely with our customers, but soon moved over to build up and lead the development of the AGR product, because I just had so many opinions on how it could be improved. I'm standing here today with pride, because these kinds of days are my favorite. I've been behind the scenes here reading all your questions. I love engaging with our customers, and so grateful how many of you are joining us here today. And today I'm not just here to talk about what we have achieved and what we have on the horizon, but to celebrate how your insights and feedback have transformed AGR. Every feature we develop, every improvement we make, has been fueled by our conversations with you, our valued users. This collaboration is not just our strength, it's our driving force, shaping the future of supply chain management. Yes, and behind the scenes, behind the AGR product is a large team of talented software specialists, product managers, designers, and many others. And we go to work every day to eliminate the waste within the supply chain. And we do that by simplifying your complexities. But how has SaaS and the transformation into SaaS influenced our product development? First of all, we release new features every 2 weeks, compared to how we did it in the past, when we released a major version about once a year, and then had to wait for the customer to plan an upgrade. Now, new features are delivered into every setup every 2 weeks, so that has been a game changer in how we can make a difference, how we can adjust to feedback and engage with customers, and how we can respond to changes in the market. We make sure our product development now takes a holistic approach, because we have learned the importance of thoroughly understanding our users' unique needs and considering all perspectives before we add new features to the standard product. Because now, every change we make, it impacts everyone. And then we focus on keeping things simple. Since our users come from diverse backgrounds, we are committed to making the system intuitive. This helps new users get up to speed quickly and realize the value of our product right from the start. One way we have enhanced simplicity is by analyzing user behavior patterns. Then we are monitoring how users are traveling within the system, where they are hitting problems, and where they seem to be interested for more. So we leverage built-in analytic tools to track system usage, and we both see how you travel around, but it also reveals the most frequently asked questions, the questions you are asking Finn about. Whether they relate to you don't knowing how to perform a certain task, or understanding specific calculations. But what has this what feature improvements has this brought to you? First of all, the order schedules is a feature that has always been part of our product, and it plays a vital role in streamlining ordering processes and freeing you from the stress of having to remember to place an order. Yes, it's always been a part of the system, and before it didn't maybe offer enough flexibility for different kinds of supply chains, therefore resulting in many customizations to handle those complexities. but now it's been given a major uplift. We introduced order calendars that offer a brand new view of your order setup, whether they are for purchasing from vendors or distribution to stores. So if we look at the example in this view, we can see a purchasing calendar for a vendor scheduled for every other Tuesday. And the dates for order creation are clearly marked on the screen. Some of you might notice that the last order at the end of the year is right before Christmas on December 24th. And me, as a busy mom, I always take this day off. So now I can easily adjust the schedule. I can let AGR suggest an order on December 23rd instead. And I might add an additional order for the end of that week for safety. I could actually talk about this feature all day, but if you're not using it or don't know how it might benefit you, I encourage you to reach out to one of us or try it out yourself. The item card, the most loved feature of AGR. It has always been part of the system since we released the first version in 2004. And since then, it's been a crucial component. Through customer research, we have seen that everything that the user does and everything that they can do directly from the item card reduces time spent in the system. Less mouse clicks, happier users. We have always believed that we help the user the most by enabling them to have all the information they need in front of them to make the best decision every time. And in the recent year, we have been adding so much more new functionality to the item card, enabling users even more to make faster decisions. Now, sales plans are available right in the item card. Whether you are reviewing reports or working on order proposals and want to adjust demand forecasts, you no longer have to travel to other parts of the systems to do so. Now it's all available in the item card in one place, making it much easier to manually enter sales plans if you feel like the forecast isn't quite right. Customer breakdown in the item card is another addition, allowing you to see exactly who's buying your products. Now you can view the sale history broken down by customer, so if a major client stops ordering, you can remove them from the sales history to ensure the forecast reflects only active customers. Yes, what do I mean by that? Take, for example, a fitness equipment distributor. After selling a particular yoga mattress through Amazon for years, they stopped offering it. You can see on the item chart that they have been selling around 800 units per month. But what happens when Amazon stops ordering? By viewing the customer breakdown, you might notice that Amazon accounts for 75% of sales. So the current forecast, based on the full sale history, simply doesn't apply anymore. So removing sales to Amazon with a single click corrects the sales history, giving you a more accurate projection. Yet this feature has been the star of the past year. We have never seen such a strong response to a single new capability. You guys, this is what drives us. This is what makes our day when you let us know how we are helping you succeed. Another recent addition, the distribution demand tab in the item card supports users who oversee multiple locations, like warehouses distributing to stores. As always, AGR ensures that warehouse orders reflect store demands before ordering from suppliers, but much of this process used to be hidden from the users. They asked for more visibility, and we responded by adding a detailed demand breakdown to enhance insights. And we didn't stop there. We also heard from you guys that you want more transparency around purchasing of components, or as we call them, BOM or bill of material items. We were hearing purchasing components is complex. How many recipes, how many final products depend on this component? Where is the demand coming from? Like I said, we've always forecasted this demand for all items and broken it down to components, but now we are taking it a step further by providing this visual representation. And we also offer a grid where you can see which sale items drive the demand for each component and how much of each item is required per recipe. And for those of you managing multi-level BOMs, you can now drill down into the item card across various products to follow the chain of command. Yes, isn't this like Christmas? So what's next? The features I've gone through are all something that is all already available in the SaaS version, but where do we go from there? The voice of the user, the voice of all of you, is the most important factor when prioritizing what additions are added to the product. On top of relying on user analytics for feedback, we also gather input through user surveys and, of course, direct conversations with you. Problems with accurate demand planning frequently come up in these conversations because, of course, some items are more tricky to plan than others. Our latest survey made it clear that you want AGR to improve its ability to manage the flow of new items. And that's understandable and something we're already working on. Every company introduces new items, and estimating demand for them can be tricky and time-consuming. We already have many options to plan for new items, connecting items, sales profiles, but we are eager to help you automate this process. Our vision is to offer a central overview of all new items, where you can connect similar items, apply sales profiles, or even enter a sales profile and sales plan to get the demand going. Also, we want you to be able to monitor the performance of these new items as they start to sell. But we are also working on automating this process, where you can both apply these settings in bulk, and then there are opportunities to even further automation. AI and machine learning can not only be applied for better forecasts, but we see opportunities to revolutionize new item onboarding. By integrating machine learning clustering algorithms, AGR could automatically identify similar items and assign them to the right forecast profiles. This feature is still in the planning phase, and we are thrilled about it. We encourage you to share your challenges and insights so we can address as many needs as possible. Another challenge we hear from you around demand planning is that the forecast doesn't pick well enough up on patterns when events don't fall on the same week or same month each year. This might apply to, of course, Easter, but to local events, festivals, and promotional events, something that happens again and again, but not at the exact same time as last year. What we can then do, and what we have been doing through the years, is to let the forecast know about these events. But this has always been handled in bespoke ways behind the scenes, so to be honest, not too many customers have been using this capability. All forecast models become more accurate when we feed it accurate data, and why don't we let the forecast know about the events that we know affects demand in our business? We are introducing this into the system before the end of the year, the ability to configure events and tell the system when certain spikes might be repeated again. This new feature empowers users who are the most knowledgeable about the events impacting their business. Now this will become available to everyone, not only those who asked for it or were willing to pay for the work. For instance, our client Burley Furniture, whom you'll meet during the panel discussion later, could use this feature to inform the system about furniture shows. They know these events significantly boost their demand, and now they can ensure our system does too. And our users and potential customers consistently emphasize the importance of customer-level planning, which we fully agree is essential for optimizing planning and forecasting for B2B supply chains. Whether it's proactively planning by customer or having a system to input customer-provided forecast, it's crucial to meet demand accurately. We have solved this multiple times with many of you for different companies in different industries of different shapes and sizes. But what's so exciting and at the same time challenging about developing the product in SaaS is that we must standardize a robust solution that has the flexibility needed to fit different companies. This feature will offer forecasting for each customer or customer group instead of forecasting for the item and then distributing it down to the lower dimension, which should enable the user to plan in a much more efficient and transparent way. But you could call this feature multiple names because some businesses may have very few customers and want to plan and forecast by individual customers. Others may have maybe few types or groups of customers that make sense to plan separately. Or, and for other businesses, it can make sense to plan by country or wholesale or retail channels. And it's all about what makes sense to you and your supply chain. We are introducing this dimension into the item card in the spring, and then it will follow into the sales planner later this year. Finally, we don't only look at our customer base when looking forward. Of course, we also take into account new technology trends, new opportunities, and the challenges you are facing in the supply chain. Haukur mentioned earlier that AI has moved to the top spot in global supply chain trends, and that is no surprise to me. Supply chain management is complicated. That's why I fell in love with it. It will always be complicated. And seeing how AI capabilities have been transforming at an unbelievable pace makes us see endless possibilities and how they can be utilized. There's a lot of confusion around what AI is and what it is not, but to me, it doesn't really matter. To me and AGR, everything that we can do to automate your repeated tasks, to give you the headspace to focus your time on something more value-adding is great news, and AI is only one tool in the toolbox to take advantage of. Our goal is for Finn, the new guy, to become the most experienced AGR employee. We anticipate that future users won't want to spend time learning the ins and outs of their systems. In the future, users, the new generations that are coming into the job market will expect to be able to state what they want to achieve instead of remembering how to do it. So I want to take an example of how we see Finn helping in the future. So I'm going on vacation again, and I can just simply tell Finn that I'm going on vacation, what do I need to do? And because Finn is always available and answers right away, he quickly responds. And he tells me, I have 5 scheduled orders scheduled for the Easter week. And he's proactive. He asks me, do I want to move them up a week? Wow, that's amazing. I just say, yes, please. And a tip, at least me, I try to always be polite to AI, because you never know. A few seconds later, Finn has responded and has told me I have an updated schedule and directs me to it for a review. Wow. And he also tells me he's proactive again, and he suggests I take a look at a particular report before I go away to ensure my vacation will be peaceful. How amazing. Maybe I can go more often on vacation now. But it's not just about all these opportunities that technology brings us that we are focusing on. We know, just as you do, that challenges in the supply chain are everywhere. Although various periods come and go, like strikes, production halts, and natural disasters, it's now clear that many of these challenges aren't going anywhere. And we want to support you when facing that reality. Everything in our system is built around having precise and good demand forecasts, which is obviously very important. But how much do the quality of these forecasts really matter if you cannot get the products delivered you need? So what can AGR2 do to help you respond to this reality? Yes, we can measure vendor performance. In the spring, AGR users will gain access to a vendor overview where key data points will help you make quick decisions. And we won't just display data on a dashboard, we'll analyze it as well. Users will be able to explore individual supplier performance in depth using the new vendor card. The vendor card will show trends in lead times from past purchase orders, providing insights into supplier reliability. Our goal is to enable you to use real-time lead times when calculating orders, helping to prevent stockouts due to supply chain uncertainty. We also see opportunities to make more use of this data in the future, taking it into account when calculating safety stocks, because uncertainty in supply is a risk factor. I hope you are as excited as I am about all these new features, which we are actively working on. And as you can see, our release plan for 2025 is ambitious. You don't have to wait for long until the lead time analysis feature will be available in the system, and then we will continue to deliver and iterate on the other exciting things throughout the year, taking full advantage of our frequent release cycle. I wanted to point out that you can keep up, but you might not be able to catch us. What I've gone through is just a fraction of what we have recently rolled out and what we have on the horizon. After each release, we publish a summary of what's new, known as the release notes, highlighting the latest features. These are available online along with our knowledge base, and I encourage you to follow it. We can't wait to hear your thoughts on what we are working on and to see how they help you achieve your goals. The more we engage in conversation, the stronger AGR's products become. Thank you.
Thank you, Sigrún. Excellent presentation. Always be polite with the AI.
Yes.
Yeah, that is just Skynet Terminator thing for me. That is, yeah, okay. But
just a habit.
Yeah. So we have some questions from online.
Yeah.
Actually, the first question is about AI.
Yes.
And the question is AGR exploring ways to use AI in forecasting? If so, what areas are you focusing on?
Okay. Yes, we have been exploring this and working on this for the last few years. We introduced a new algorithm into our forecasting model last year that utilizes machine learning. What we also saw when testing is that to use machine learning for forecasting, you need a lot of data for it to help. So if you have too little data into the past, it can sort of bring up trends that might not happen again. So you need to be careful when you use it and when you don't. But there are obviously a lot of opportunities there. But we see even more opportunities to use AI in automations, in like I mentioned with new item onboarding, automating tasks that you are doing day in and day out, suggesting ways how to schedule orders and so on. And that is what we are already working on. But the main thing with forecasts and utilizing AI, it's about the data you feed it. And the event model is an example of where we are feeding it with better data for it to perform even better.
Yeah, I heard somebody says it's not shit in, shit out. It's a shit magnifier if you put the shit in, but that's...
Yeah,
maybe, but only me here.
Yeah, so, that's right. Yeah.
I have more questions for you, by the way.
Okay.
So here is one. Are the updates to the item card, for example, sales plans on item card, available in the on-prem version for existing customers on the on-prem platform, or is this specific to the SaaS version?
Yeah, good question. Good to get it. Everything I talked about today is specific to the SaaS platform, and we made the decision to, at one point, to move all new development into the SaaS platform to make sure we can go as fast as humanly possible to enable all of you to go over to SaaS. So all of those, or most of those features I talked about, are only available in SaaS.
Okay. So, and another question here from a line is, how do you reach out to customers to get feedback from features in development?
I think AGR because I buy a lot of software, like all of you probably do, and AGR users, I think we have something very unique. The feedback we get when we send surveys, I don't understand like how much time you spend answering our questions. So I'm truly grateful for that. So at one point we asked in the live chat about customers that would be interested in giving us feedback. So we have a list of customers that we actively talk to. We also actively talk to our customer success team, all of the product team. When we are developing a new feature, who do you think would have an opinion on event modeling? And then we have a user interview. We have been stepping it up, doing both user interviews to gather requirements, but also to test out the designs to see if the users will understand the new feature and adjust from there. So, but if you want to be on the list, just please reach out, let me know, or reach out to one of the product team or your customer success manager. I actually have a personal goal of meeting 2 customers every single week. I'm thinking this counts as 300.
You have 2 here today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and 300 online. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you can go for vacation
Just please, yeah, I can go on vacation. Please reach out.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
So, another one coming in here.
Oh, wow.
Actually, one aimed at Dennis at BoConcept, and another one aimed at you here. If you want to go from on-prem to SaaS, how would the process go?
Yes. So mostly just an active conversation with your customer success manager, mapping out if how your customizations that you're currently using are handled in SaaS. So to understand that, but then it only takes 1 hour to spin up a system, and if we have a standard connector, then you can start to run it on the site and compare the systems. So the implementation is really quick.
Yeah, because this is not an upgrade. It's a new
not an
platform.
upgrade.
So
It's
you're able to compare them both sides.
Yes.
I've seen some of the customers do that, to have both platforms live
Yes.
while they're deciding to move over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and it's not a risky decision because it's not a long implementation. You can go for it. You can see how it helps you. You can see, even though you need to sacrifice some customizations, because maybe they are adding of course they're adding a lot of value for you today, but how will they, when you get new employees, when you change your team and technology evolves, they are expensive to maintain. So, and there are a lot of other great benefits you get in SaaS, but it's just a decision for you.
Yeah. So we are just having all kinds of questions coming in here, but we are both answering them here. We have customers in the panel later on, but we are also answering. We have members of our team, both from the product team and from the consulting team and customer success, that are answering your questions online. And I see that Dennis, our customer from BoConcept, he has already answered one of the questions there online. I just want to read out his answer, but the question is from Andrew, not the prince, but some Andrew. And have you replanned your supply chains to cope with unpredictability, more production closer to home, ? And Dennis is answering and has put that in the text open to all of you. And Dennis says, hi Andrew, the biggest change we have made has been to move the supplies of upholstery flow to North America from Asia to Europe, following the last Trump administration's tariff push on Chinese products. We are making all make-to-order items for Asia in Asia and for European market in Europe in order to keep the transit times as short as possible. With 75% of our flow in BoConcept being shipped out of our European DC, our own production in Denmark support the local production. Hope this answers your question, Dennis. Good question. Good answer to a good question, Dennis. But we have here a live panel with our customers, and we are going to put them here on the spot with Jesper and Julie from our team asking them questions. There was one customer that was not able to come here on site in Copenhagen, but was so good to allow us to interview him before with questions, and that is Grandberg. And it's Fredrik Gilsvik, a supply chain manager from Grandberg, but Grandberg is a Norwegian distributor of protecting clothes. They became a customer of AGR 7 years ago and have been using the on-prem platform, and just recently went live with the SaaS platform. And Johan Ivar is going to interview Fredrik here. So, and after that, stay tuned. But straight after that, we will have the live panel with our customers answering questions. So, Grandberg.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Johan, and I am Head of Integrations and Customer Success Operations at AGR. I am joined today by Fredrik Gilsvik from Grandberg, and I'll be asking him some questions about how Grandberg has been using AGR. Fredrik, could you just start by introducing yourself and your role at Grandberg?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Fredrik Gilsvik. I work as a supply chain manager in Grandberg. I've been in Grandberg for 7 years, and most of those years we have been using AGR as a planning tool.
Mm-hmm. So you have been using AGR for quite a while now, for about 7 years. Could you tell us a little bit or explain how AGR fits into the inventory processes at Grandberg?
Well, here in Grandberg we have a make-to-stock approach. So we base a lot of our purchases on historical sales and forecasting, and AGR is a necessary and very important tool in that.
Okay, good. And so recently you switched from the on-premise version of AGR to AGR SaaS, and if I understood correctly, you were doing an ERP upgrade at the same time. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Was it a big task, I imagine?
It was a big task, always a big task, changing ERP systems and other related systems as well. We got in touch with AGR in terms of this upgrade because we knew about the SaaS version of AGR, which we were unable to use with our old ERP system. And we got a demonstration and got to see the improvements. And then we decided to go for the SaaS version.
How do you think the two migrations, one being the ERP going from on-premise to SaaS and then AGR, how do they compare in terms of, or how do you execute those two together? Is it, do you do the ERP upgrade first and then immediately followed by the AGR upgrade, or?
We did the ERP upgrade first, but throughout the process we had contact with AGR, and our contacts in AGR, they were quite professional and helpful, and sometimes they were maybe a bit ahead of us when it came to implementation and so on. So sometimes it felt like AGR had to wait for us and our process.
Right. All right. That's good. And what does it feel like? How is life after going from on-premise to SaaS? If we zoom in on AGR specifically, did you have any customizations that you had to say goodbye to going from on-premise to SaaS?
We had a lot of customizations, and this was also due to a lot of customizations in our ERP system. So the first integration we had with AGR was quite time consuming, as I can remember. But in this case, we chose to go for a more standard version of the ERP system, and also more standard version with the SaaS AGR. Not too many customizations. Of course, there are always some minor customizations, but in general, we went for more standard solutions in order to get a better flow between the systems.
And how have you found that? Do you miss any of the old customizations you had before?
No, not really. We quite like the new SaaS system, and also if there is anything that we want to change, we can always get in touch with AGR and suggest, certain updates, and maybe they will, maybe you will implement those in the future updates of the SaaS system. And this is also one of the things that we really like, is that it's continuous improvement of the system,
right?
And it's always being worked on.
Yeah, with the releases coming out every 2 weeks, often you don't have to wait a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
For the changes to happen. Okay, but are there any new features that you got with the SaaS version that you were particularly fond of?
Yeah, well, for us, it's the expiry dates, the overview of expiry dates and expiring stock. This is quite important for us. So this has helped us quite a lot. Previously, we had to manage through SQL reports and etc. in order to have a complete overview of this. But now we can use AGR for this purpose. And also, we see that ABC analytics in the system is much stronger than before. So we have actually started to use those a bit more, making reports which we are sharing more internally with other departments in the company as well.
That's very cool. How can we take a little bit of a dive into that? Like, what is the difference you see in, how did you see the ABC analysis getting better?
Well, it's difficult to say. It's much easier to use,
right.
And it's more. I would say it's more clearer on what the different ABC classifications are compared to the older system. I think that's the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
So now it's easier for more people and other users or people who are not using AGR to kind of understand, okay, what's behind these classifications.
Yeah, right. It's so important that people understand what's behind the calculations so that they can trust them, right?
Absolutely.
All right. And so maybe, again, to compare a little bit, with the SaaS version of AGR and how we are delivering AGR to customers with SaaS, obviously we do not charge by the hour, and the service model is a little bit different with the live chat, obviously, in the system. Can you talk a little bit about how this has changed the way that you seek consultancy and seek support from the AGR team?
Well, we use this AI bot quite much. If
Finn.
there isn't, Finn.
Okay.
So all minor questions we usually go with Finn, and if Finn doesn't have an answer, we have experienced that the customer service are quickly on the ball to figure out what's wrong and if we need any additional assistance.
Right. So you like speaking with Finn, even though he's a bot.
Even if he's a bot, he's a nice bot.
that's good. Good to hear. Very good. And obviously, the HR support team is right behind him to step in if there's anything more complicated. But I can say for myself, like I like talking to bots like this. Just instead of querying a knowledge base, you can you're not talking to a person, but you can get immediate responses, or just have a bot read the knowledge base for you and synthesize the answers to your context. And I've noticed you've been doing some of the same.
Yeah, we have been using him quite a lot. So
yeah, that's great.
We're quite satisfied with this solution because it's the limit for asking is quite low.
Yeah,
in this case.
Yeah, it's a easier, lower barrier to seeking support, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Maybe just to go a little bit high level then, what would you say has been the biggest impact or biggest difference on your daily operations since you started using AGR? What, from your experience, what has been the biggest change to your supply chain operations?
We definitely have more control over the entire supply chain. Bigger impacts in the supply chain, we can easily see how that will affect our future stock levels and so on. So in terms of risk assessment, it's quite an important and good tool for us, especially now during the latest years. There has been disruptions in the supply chains worldwide, and also we have all these geopolitical situations which are affecting the international supply chains. And in this case, AGR has been a really important tool for us in order to do some risk assessment and how we should act.
Yeah, it's been crazy over the last few years, the changes to the external environments, geopolitically and otherwise. It's just been impacting supply chains all over the world. So yeah, good to hear that AGR was able to help you guys with some of that, those struggles. Is there anything that you would have done differently in implementing AGR, or do you have any advice to others that might be considering inventory solutions, or do you have anything to say about that?
From our experience, to go for more standardized versions and also do minor adjustments in the configuration is a better way to do it, because it's when you need to
change
something, it's much easier the way the SaaS is working compared to the other version we had.
Yeah. So basically. It seems like you're saying that go for a more overall standard approach, but with room for some minor adjustments to fit better, better to your needs. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And then in this part, AGR has been quite helpful for us to kind of cover the basis and advise us and what's best to do according to how we use AGR today and how the system works.
Awesome. But Fredrik, thank you for sharing your experience with me and with the viewers today. It's been really great to hear your story and how moving from the on-premise to SaaS has helped, and how that all has played out. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone that's joining us here today, whether you're from our existing AGR community or whether you're a prospective customer who's really keen to get to the bottom of what it's really like to be a customer in AGR. I'm Julie, and I'm joined here today by my colleague Jesper. We are leading the SaaS customer success functions. I'm based in the UK, Jesper's here in Copenhagen, but we manage customers across the globe, so it's not just in each of those countries. On a day-to-day basis, we manage the implementation of the system into yourselves, we do training, and then once you're up and running, we manage helping you to get the best out of the system. Okay, Jesper, we're joined today.
Yes, just referring to Grandberg, I'm still happy they're here. They were my first customer when I started 7 years ago. Okay. And we actually both started 7 years ago.
On the same day almost.
Yeah, we went to the same introduction course and everything in Iceland. We're going to have a panel discussion today. We brought along, or you were happy to come along, two of our customers. We have Christian from Panzerglas and Dean from Burley. And maybe you can give a short or an introduction of who you are, your company, maybe to set the scene for our audience so they know where you're coming from. So Dean, please share a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Yeah, so as you said, I'm Dean Powell. I'm the head of supply chain for Burley. We're a UK-based furniture company. Been around, privately owned for about 27 years. Mainly business to business kind of sales. But we have ventured into the business to consumer market recently, which all businesses will see opens up lots of challenges and lots of difficulties in terms of that. So, but personally been in supply chain and management for about 30 plus years. So lots and lots of different sectors. So the last sector I worked in was in the train building industry. So a normal train has about 500,000 SKUs that you need to manage. So yeah, that's been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And maybe a little bit about your setup, ERP, location setup, SKUs.
So
like
at the moment we're based just in the UK out of a few warehouses. We use Business Central in terms of our main purchase process. AGR is very much our kind of focus-driven engine, looking at it from a stock optimization point of view as well. We are mainly UK-based, but we are looking to venture out into other warehousing, maybe looking out in the Far East as well, and looking at new markets, potentially in Dubai and the US.
Yeah. And you're sourcing your products?
So we do about 97% of our product comes from the Far East. So China, Malaysia, Vietnam. We do about 3% out of Brazil, so out of South America. So very, very focused on imports. We are impacted by global events. Tariffs coming on board, all those kind of things that happen. Just for a small company in the middle of East Midlands in the UK, it can be quite scary sometimes. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Christian, yeah?
Yes, I'm working at Panzerglas as a manager of our planning and forecasting team. Panzerglas is a global screen protector brand company, started a little over 10 years ago. Today we are a little more than 200 employees in almost around 70 different countries, with offices in China and in Dubai, and our headquarters in Denmark, Aarhus. We also operate warehouses in 3 locations, same places as our offices, and that means we're managing approximately 3,000 active SKUs. Those are active in all 3 locations, so that becomes quite a lot of different lines to manage, which is where AGR also comes into the picture. We mainly sell screen protection, but I've recently started to venture into other mobile phone accessories, that being cases, or it could be other accessories for phones. So that also means we need even more help managing new product launches, new product categories for us even. And it's so important to mention that we are only an accessory partner, so we cannot drive sales without phones also being sold. So for us, overstocking is dangerous, as we cannot just discount goods and sell them if nobody owns an iPhone 11 anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Understood.
So we need to be on top of that.
How many SKUs are you dealing with, Dean? Are you?
So I think on AGR Live at the moment, we've probably got, well, not probably, we've got 3,887 lines on
Very
there.
good.
I mean, some of those are really small fitting parts that we still need to order for a bed, right up to the end product, which could be like a, super king size bed with a plasma screen TV coming out the end.
Wow.
So, but the core number of lines is about 900 in terms of it. They really drive our business in terms of it. And for us, one of the biggest challenges that we had last year was we've increased that by about 28% in terms of new lines. New lines are really our lifeblood of our sector. We fall to trends. I think you only have to have a social influencer on TikTok or Instagram showing a product, and the next thing you know, it's black-coloured fluted wardrobes, which are the next thing. So, we've launched quite a lot of products like that.
Excellent. Perhaps you, Christian, could tell us about your journey into AGR, because you both have very different
Yes.
journeys to talk about. So perhaps you could just give us a
Yeah,
bit of a
of course.
flavour of how it was for you.
When I started out working for Panzerglas almost 5 years ago, everything was done in spreadsheets. And I think
Love a spreadsheet.
everyone knows
Everyone
how
loves
that
a
feels.
spreadsheet.
But I've really pushed to get that more systemized and automate as many processes as possible. And in the beginning of 2024, we started out moving from on-prem Navision, Microsoft Navision, to Business Central. So that naturally led us to look into our whole IT setup, not only ERP, but also should we implement something that could help us in our forecasting, planning, inventory management. And you can say that we had a discussion if that should be a customized solution in Business Central or a external company. I think we quickly figured out not customizing things in BC makes life a lot easier.
Yep. We see the same.
Yeah. So we chose to go with AGR, and mainly because we needed to move away from spreadsheets or spreadsheets connected to SQL databases that were 200 megabyte large files that nobody could open because it took too long. And we needed like the alerts and the
exceptions.
Yeah, the exception exactly that AGR is able to provide us. Our lead time, our product life cycles are extremely short. On average, maybe between 16 and 20 weeks. So we need to be on top of everything. And we are obviously launching a lot of new products all the time.
Seems to be a common theme.
Yeah, and every time a new phone launches, we have between 5 and 100 different new products ready.
Okay. And so at that time you decided AGR was the route for you, and you haven't had AGR very long, have you?
No, we haven't. Since 1st of November, I think we went live.
Okay.
Maybe Jesper remembers better than me.
No, it sounds right.
So it's been completely new for us. And on top of starting out with AGR, we have also, we went live on Business Central 1st of March. So it's been quite hectic few months. But I think overall it's been very smooth journey with AGR. Also the change from having been connected to our nav servers to Business Central.
So you actually moved, you went live with AGR on nav?
Yes.
And then have swapped recently to
just
Business
today
Central.
we got the last things fixed with our Business Central connection.
Okay.
So it went really smooth, and it's been great to be able to compare systems, and also we had a good dialogue about what changes needed to be moved over and which ones we could scrap because we again moved away from customized solutions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I remember in one of our sessions you said, I'm really amazed by your product team or development team. I was able to add a location myself, so you said credit to the development team that you were able to just go in. We haven't even talked about it, and then I added it myself. I was able to do it. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
What about you, Dean? I mean, your journey's been slightly different, hasn't it, from Christian's?
Yeah, so I started with Burley about 18 months ago. So I inherited AGR. So for me, I didn't get to see what the kind of system was like and go along with that development. So, and to be honest, the business at that time was wanting, I think, to go backwards initially. They wanted to look at what they could use in terms of an Excel forecasting sheet, and it was so I managed to hold off on that for a period of time. But actually, the simplicity of the AGR system and just being able to navigate it was really powerful for me. And we're still here with AGR and really excited about what else it can deliver for our business in terms of the new things that we need to do in terms of it. So
especially with the growth that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, really, really mad in terms of growth at the moment. Double digits, 28% growth last year. Double digit again predicted this year. New lines, etc. We really need a system which will kind of help us and develop and keep us growing the way that we need to. And I think AGR is that software. So yeah, definitely sticking with it through that time. And I've learned so much about it as well. And I think when I first joined, the support was still there. That I kind of got the training from you, Julie.
It was
as if I was you were just launching it within the business, and I could see straight away that you wanted the time and development to be able to go through with me. And so, that's shown benefits for us as a company.
Oh, that's great. However, there are, as we've heard today, many challenges to achieving what we want. Can you just talk about some of those challenges? And either of you, we know there are plenty of shared challenges.
Yes, there are. I can start off with master data. And I can only point fingers at myself because I'm also responsible at Panzerglas for making sure that's correct. But our setup is right now not very good, which also means there's some functions in AGR that we cannot use 100% optimally. So I think that's as always, and I think someone else said it before.
I think Håkan mentioned
something in,
rubbish
something
data
out.
in, rubbish data out. I think that's what he meant. Yeah.
I think that's one of our biggest challenges, making sure that everything like lead times, if a product is make to order or make to stock, different replenishment policies, when a product is end of life, product life cycles in general.
Yeah.
If we don't have that under control, then it's harder to gain the best out of AGR.
Yes, and we see that, and that's generally why when we're implementing a project, that's where we'd start. Data validation is usually the first stage, and once you've got that up and running, then the functionality within AGR should work to its optimum.
Always improve on the data quality.
Yeah.
It's pretty normal that customers need to update their data because suddenly AGR is using it for something, and you might not have been using it previously, so it hasn't been that important. Lead time for one, or order multiples, or something like that. Yes. So that is. So that was a challenge with the master data, right?
For us, it was to get that fixed and sorted. We probably started out just bulk updating everything to an average, and then slowly we started to look deeper into it and make it more accurate per item category, and then. I think in a few months we'll start looking on a SKU level instead of categories.
Yeah, I mean, I fully support that in terms of the master data is really important. The complexity of our inventory, I think. So, I've talked about the 28% growth in terms of some of the new lines that we've launched in the last 18 months. That just adds. We've not delisted some of those lines either in terms of. So we're just growing. Lead times, I think, is for me. So as an importer, 100% of my product comes from outside of the UK, so those lead times are massive. So we have supplier base which can turn it around in 60 days, but I have ones that are up to 160 days in terms of lead time. Right at the far east of China, near North Korea. Normally, it takes 8 days to get to the port from the factory. So 8 hours. Sorry, not 8 days. But it's having a system and trying to manage that complexity, especially when we have market fluctuations.
So you're probably interested to hear what Sigrun said then about some of what's coming.
Absolutely.
With the vendor and the lead time.
No, some of those are really exciting in terms of being able to manage it. So we have about 35 suppliers that we use. Some are good, some are bad. But it was interesting to see also that Dennis has those in BoConcept has those similar kind of challenges from it. And just those market fluctuations that I've talked about as well, being able to be agile enough to turn around a product really quickly. Your life cycle that you had is amazing. But we have the same, but we have to react quite quickly as well.
I mean, when you go to the furniture shows that we heard about, I mean, what happens
then?
You're on there,
Birmingham
what happens if you suddenly
show.
get a rush? What do you do?
Well, I mean, that's the big challenge as well. So on those new lines that we launched, somewhere along the line, like 158% growth in terms of those new lines. I mean, how do you...
Growth, lots of people really dream of.
Absolutely. Fantastic problems to have. But how do you manage that? Well, I just think, again, it's about data and about setting up the products right at the start, having the right data, having the safety stock in place. That's really keen. And AGR has so many functionalities around letting us choose the right safety stock for when we launch a new line, and then letting it flow once it's settled in. And I think that's quite important as well.
Have you made use of the recent development that we've released to do with the varying different safety stocks? You can now choose from 3 types, can't you?
We did. In fact, we've had very detailed conversations around that with my owner, because one of the other challenges, and I'm sure we'll come on to that, is around, or one of the benefits that we've had is around stock optimization. So we don't want to hold massive amount of stock in terms of we've got to get it right, but still maintain that availability in those sales.
So, I mean, beside that, how can AGR help you with these challenges then? I mean, what tools can you use? What do you really, sort of drill into in the system? What can you?
What sold it for me was seeing the connected items function. Of say now we have thousands of connected items each year, so so very happy to hear that it's being looked into a smarter solution of connected items. But the ability to connect them and create this chain of for us everything is about phones. So going from an iPhone 12 to 13 to 14, etc. That has really helped a lot in creating that baseline for an initial order. And the launch period's always the most important for us. I think we sell probably 50% in the first 3 months of a product life cycle, and then it slowly.
And how do you know? Do you get told what the length of the life cycle of a product's going to be? Do you get secret information?
Again, it's based on a phone market, so we will have to research a lot about what is going on there.
Okay.
We have partnerships with select phone manufacturers that helps us, but yeah, the connected items feature is super valuable to us in order to get those first numbers in the system. Of course, we'll combine that with a sales forecast, but it's really nice to have an objective number that no one has touched.
You mentioned you had short life cycles, but still you need to keep the older models in stock, right?
It differs a lot for different. But Apple phones in general has multiple years of lifetime, but we like to support every phone that's still being sold actively. So that also means there's a lot of active products, and that's a big challenge for us as well with overstocking, because phones are taken out of the market, or legislation is passed that you cannot sell phones with a lightning plug any longer. So things like that, of course, affects us, and we have to. But before we didn't really have anywhere to put all of this info. Now we have started also closing down forecasts, putting in forecast end dates for products when we know that they at some point will be gone from the market.
Are you using the bulk update to do that, or are you down on SKU level doing?
SKU level currently.
And I would fully support that. I mean, connected items is really key for us in our furniture world. So not just new lines, but when we have a version change. So we sometimes, because we work closely with the factory, we might change just slightly the product. So he goes, I don't know, from 5 drill holes in a bed to 3, and or narrowing the headboard down. That product's still going to stay the same, but we need to make sure that we can manage that and give the system the right forecast, while still managing the old stock as well. So it's a really key one. And I think just being able to use the dashboards as well for me, in terms of that's a good functionality of AGR. I don't want my work to be a guessing game. I think that's what I want to take away in terms of it. It used to be like a dark art trying to get these numbers correct. Well, it shouldn't be like that. I want the guess to be taken out and actually use the data to drive our business forward, because that's how we're going to open up cash flow. That's how we're going to reduce our stock numbers if we trust the data.
So what do you use in AGR to help you give you that insight?
I would say absolutely around the safety stock. So safety stock's really keen for us in terms of having the right amount.
Are you using the ABC classification to differentiate the
products? A little bit. I think for us, because of the idiosyncrasies of our own business, sometimes we use our own little product classification. And I know what we can do is fully utilize the customized columns that AGR offer. So whilst it doesn't form part of the background calculation, what it enables us to do is to view and to filter and to produce reports on what we deem as important. So I think that's really good, and I've utilised, I think, a couple of those in terms of.
This is where we just bring in data which is specific to a customer, not included in functions, but to give you insight that you're used to seeing from your ERP or whatever.
Absolutely.
But isn't necessarily part of the standard AGR. But means you can have different columns to Christian and so on.
Great tool to have in terms of just so I can, when me or the team are actually looking at the system, we can actually say, yes, it's one of our A lines, it's one of our new lines, etc. So.
Great. What would you say is key to getting buy-in from the team? Because, we do training of yourselves, the super users, occasionally users, but, sometimes it's a challenge getting people on board with a new system. I mean, how have you managed sort of integrating that into your daily flow, your work process? I mean, what?
Well, I think that's really important. I think because one of the key things is about that cadence, that rhythm of utilising things like the reports. We've already spoken around the different suite of reports that AGR can offer. Those now form part of our daily processes where previously they weren't. So it's very, my boss talks about the hokey cokey report, which is like the in and out.
Oh.
So it's,
Okay.
have you looked at that today? Have we looked at the stock emergency, the ordering cycle ones in terms of it? And the great thing about those reports, you can kind of customize them slightly as well. So it's very specific to what Burley want in terms of it. So I think getting the team to buy into checking those and manage the exception as opposed to just trying to go through those 800 lines, is really important, I think.
I think that it's been quite easy to get our planners to work in AGR, and they feel that the time they spend on planning and forecasting is spent much smarter now. They don't have to spend time on updating spreadsheets, copy pasting new products, and so all the time is actually spent on value adding things and value adding time. So that's been a huge change in
which
how they
is
actually
key,
use.
isn't it? It's not just about implementing a new system, a different way of doing things. It's the whole change management process around that, isn't it? Which
exactly, but it still has been quite intuitive. I think AGI overall has been intuitive. It's a lot of columns and cells. So if you know how to use Excel, you basically can find your way around AGR as well, and no crazy code is being shown to people.
To people that don't know it, like myself, I was not a technical resource.
So I think that's really nice. It's not scaring anybody away from trying it out, and I think it's very hard to mess something up.
It is. Yeah. You said planning. So you're using the planner tab in the item card when you do planning, overriding the forecast, giving improvements, promotions,
or creating. Currently, we are not connected we're not creating purchase orders directly in our ERP system from AGR. So we still have a slightly different process there. But the what's it called, the grid on the item card is probably our most used tab. So seeing undelivered and what AGR estimates, and we'll probably do some adjustments outside of AGR currently, so that we hope to also be able to move into AGR. Once we, for example, have more detailed customer planning, will be amazing for us. 95% of our business is to other distributors, so it's super important for us to be able to collect their forecasts and put them into AGR. We have also been lacking a system that can do that for a while.
Yeah, I know you were also using the customer level, at least on a higher level, to go in and manipulate your data and exclude some of your own data or your own companies, right?
Yeah, we have so many trading companies, so to make sure that we don't take our internal trading into account when forecasting. Yeah, it's been really nice to be able to filter that away, or as was also shown on the presentation, filter out customers where you stopped doing business with. That's been very nice to be able to do that with one click, literally.
Or taking out the one-off orders as well that we have. So we deliver directly to some customers. It never hits our warehouse in terms of it. So being able to take those one-off kind of orders out of the forecast, so it doesn't kind of skew the data, so to speak, in terms of that's quite powerful for it, to be fair. So, and I think once people see that and those functionalities, I think the big thing is to get people to trust the system. To be fair, I tell the team kind of like, look, get the data right at the start, and tweak it a little bit if you've got promotions and stuff like that, but trust the system then to be able to do it. Because if the more you tweak it all the time, the more kind of the rubbish you're going to get out of at the end of it, to be fair. So trust is a really big part, I think, of the team to be able to use the system.
Yeah, and I mean, AGR is a system.
Yeah.
It won't, I believe, ever replace humans.
No.
We need humans to engage in the system, but it takes out a lot of the crunch work, and it allows users to review, analyse, rather than all the preparation of the data and that kind of thing. Everything's integrated from one module to the other.
I think, like Christian said, it's about we're able to step away and add value to the rest of the business then, to be fair, as opposed to being that data crunching, to be fair. So we're managing by the exception, aren't we, now, in terms of the system. So that's what the reports are there for. It's the exceptions, or the promotional activities and stuff.
But the majority run
But
itself.
the majority of our work now
Yeah.
is just, it's just standard stuff in terms of where we're at. So I think we can add value to our businesses, which surely is a selling point as well too.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the alternative would be, for us at least, when adding a lot of new product categories, a lot of new items, that would have been to hire more people to do the same job that we can handle in a small team today with AGR.
So it allows for scalability.
Absolutely,
basically.
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What features then? I mean, you've already mentioned connected items. What other features would you recommend to the prospects that we have on the call today, or maybe other customers that aren't really using all of AGR?
Connected items.
Connected items. Yeah, we've heard about that.
Because
Yeah,
it's worth mentioning. That, and then for us, customer level planning will become a huge thing. We do weekly or bi-weekly collaborative planning meetings with a lot of our big customers.
Okay.
So being able to implement their forecast directly into AGR instead of, today we only have half the picture because
you can see the history.
Yeah. So combining that in one, having one source and one truth, that will be really good. So I think, I'm super
looking forward
interested to hear more about that.
Lots of our customers are looking forward to that. I must say, we're looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see about the customer, the increased customer kind of functionality that we're going to see. I think we're launching on quite a lot of kind of UK retailers out there, and I think they're going to help share with us in terms of forecasting. So we're going to be able to use that intelligent data to help us a little bit more in terms of it. But yeah, connected items is another one I'm really excited about.
It's a big love today, then.
Yeah, we were sitting in there, they were nodding. This looks good with the supplier performance, and new item workspace, and that stuff.
Yeah, also in the presentations you talked about the different types of data integrators in terms of our ordering system. So we fully utilize those kind of activities as well. So you're creating the orders for us, we're sense checking it slightly and then just putting it straight into our system to be able to place the order, to be fair. So, that's a great functionality that I find. It saves a lot of time as well in terms of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got now in Business Central that we're using now. There's no smart way to create purchase orders if you have to create a lot of them. Okay. It's super time consuming to go through purchase order document by purchase order document. Yes. So having that feature available will also be a big time saver.
Okay. Well, you've got the audience here today. You've seen Sigrun, Einar, and Håkon. What would you ask for them? What other things would you say would be good to help you?
Improvement ideas.
Improvement ideas. We always welcome improvement ideas for everybody.
Stop listening to me.
It's a wish list. Okay.
So seeing the new vendor features, I think I only missed one thing, and that is lead time being split between production and transportation.
Okay.
We ship most of our goods on air freight, but of course are moving more and more to sea freight. And having the system being able to help with that, proposing maybe initial orders on air freight and replenishment on sea freight, or however we see fit.
Wherever you are then.
But being able to split those two things, that would help us a lot in planning on saving both money and
transportation
CO2 on moving from air freight to sea freight.
Wow. Okay. I suppose we talked about one of the big major supply chain issues is around risk and disruption in terms of it. I mean, who would have thought last November that the cut off the Suez of the canal would cause such chaos in terms of the rest of the world, you know, and then the Panama Canal kind of had a drought. So like that part of the world was then hit with it as well. So I don't know whether or not there's anything around there around kind of more intelligence around being able to impact lead times or review forecasts through live events. You know, at the moment we do that. It's a manual input, so we'll change lead times on systems but you know, it would be great if AGR in the future was to say, you know, realize there's a problem here or there's poor weather conditions in Brazil. You know, you might need to think about those products in terms of going forward. So I think that would be great to have.
Okay, well maybe one day you could ask our friend Finn.
Yeah, maybe.
See if he can
I might ask Finn in terms of
Do you use Finn much?
I don't, but I will now, especially around holidays.
Okay, do you
No, we haven't either. No, but I think it's still so new for us that we've been talking with you, Jesper, some of your colleagues, whenever we have had questions or trouble setting something
You
up.
should try Finn.
Yeah, we'll have to do next time. But then a comment field on the different SKUs on the
to
lines.
manually be able to enter.
So just put in a simple text field. I think that would help a lot, especially if you have a lot of people looking into AGR that are not necessarily using AGR every day. So that will help a lot.
Have you seen the comment field we can do on the order that we do? I mean, that's different from what you're asking, but we have that facility.
Yeah.
You can enter a comment on the order and that can go into.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes there's some strange exceptions or strange things you have to be aware of on some items.
Yes, it's not. That's not my comment. It's not a replacement for your comment.
So, that would be lovely to have.
You're talking about a free text field that you can then also use for filtering or having in the order grid or something to provide you with
just
options.
pop up in the info box whenever you open up the item card.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be good if you could follow the product as well in terms of it over time. That would be really useful to Otherwise, it's all up here, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
We did have a question that was sent in before today, actually, that we'd like to pose to you, if that's okay. It's very similar to one that went to Dennis earlier. But how do you cope with short-term demand spikes when you're importing low-value branded products from the Far East via sea freight, for example? You know, how would you use AGR maybe to help you manage that, if at all possible?
For us, now it's the 10th time I say connected items, but again, that gives us the idea of demand in the launch period, because we know based on history, what we usually would sell in each region. So I think we can prepare for that spike that we always see when a new phone launches. That also means we will air freight or choose a multimodal transport solution to begin with. But that, you know, it makes us aware of how much we need, when we will need it, because we know the launch dates. In many months ahead, we can connect those items as soon as we want to.
I think if it's just a standard line rather than a new line, I think, you know, we've air freighted, but it's very expensive to air freight furniture. I wouldn't recommend it unless it's really, really critical. But safety stock. The safety stock numbers, I think, are key for us, because we don't buy anything in the UK. It's all imported in. So selecting the right safety stock for your product to make sure that you've got what you need in terms of it. So, and they should hopefully help you with those, you know, very erratic fluctuations in terms of, as I said, we have it. You only have to have a social media influencer do something, and the next thing you know, you're trying to battle to get stock in really, really quickly.
Do you have the chance, either of you, to change the source, you know, to ship from closer to home? Or?
No, we don't. We source everything, source and produce everything in China.
Yep.
And we do not have plans currently of changing that. It's not really feasible to do. So for us, it's the only parameter we can change is the transportation method.
We do slightly. We have a slight opportunity to do things like that. So, you know, coming out of Brazil is much faster than coming out of China. It's only 22 days
bit
to
closer
ship it.
to home,
bit quicker. Yeah,
still
closer.
Still quite far.
So we have some flexibility, but but not a great deal in terms of it. So that's why it's really important to get those basics at home correct in terms of your stock.
Yeah.
Really, to be fair, but sometimes going out of stock is part of what happens in supply chain. It's not great, but sometimes it happens. You just can't have that control.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or anything else that you think it would be useful for the viewers online to hear from? We wrap.
What do you think about today's event? You were sitting in here watching what
It was
they
great.
were
I
presenting.
was scribbling down about the roadmap because obviously we haven't seen that. We're not privy to it, so it's interesting to see some of the things that are coming ahead.
Absolutely.
Connect new items, absolutely massive for us in terms of, and obviously for Christine as well, but also the customer portal.
Yeah.
I think is really key.
100%. And then always interesting to hear how others work with HR, what they have gained from HR. I think that just gives some good inspiration for, and left me with some notes I can bring home and share tomorrow.
Yeah.
So definitely suggest registering for next time, whenever that is.
Well,
Don't think we started planning that one yet.
Plan it now.
yeah, but thank you so much for coming today. I know you were up early and you were traveling really long to be here today, so that was amazing. Thank you for your input and your time.
Thanks for
That's
inviting
great.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay,
thank you.
and thank you to the viewers for tuning in and listening to all the sessions today, and particularly this one.
I think we'll just have Heiko come in and close off the event.
Yeah, what a day this has been. AGR Inventory Summit coming to an end. It's very interesting for me to hear our customers here live discussing their wish list. It's all the way from a comment field at certain place and then to predict the weather in Brazil and figure out how that will impact the lead times and everything between. But we at AGR, we feel like a 6-year-old now that has been showing their parents what we have built for them. We are proud of what we have built, and we can't wait for you to minimize the waste in your supply chain with what we have been building for you. Our team will be staying online now to answer your questions. If there are any remaining questions you would like to throw at them, they will be sending the answers to you online. And if some questions come up later, feel free to reach out to HR, to the product team, or to your consultant. So thanks for today. Bye bye. Each new lesson I receive, it keeps bringing